All right, welcome back, or welcome to this video. This is the extended version of the Hackathorn special. All right, we got the look at the bag. These all of the Wilsons come with a bag, the carrying bag, which is excellent. Of course, you got pockets over there, and then of course your main area here to put your 1911. And what I love is the magazine pouch here, in which this one here was outfitted with 8 Wilson magazines, including some of the Vickers tactical magazines, which was an excellent deal because if you know the magazines, that's definitely not cheap, but they are the best. All right, the 1911 is right here, but before we dive into that, we're going to go ahead and look at what I think is part of the coolest thing about Wilson's, and the basically the paperwork and all the pedigree on the stuff. This is the extended version of video. If you want to just see the meat and potatoes of the actual 1911, we do have a separate video for that. So, all right, but if you want to kind of just hang out and do this whole bit with this, and we're going to go ahead and check it all out and do all that. I tell you, these things are just gorgeous and really well done. Okay. So this one here is the Hackathorn Special Combat Commander. This is what they listed as here. But okay, it's got the armor tough finish. Obviously, that's what most of their stuff is outfitted with. I like the two-tone, which is pretty much exactly like what Hackathorn has on his, and that's kind of what got me into this. And it's actually he's the reason I got into 9mm commanders, and that's what this is, a 9mm commander. They obviously offer it in 45 if you're a purist, but I have definitely grown very fond of the 9mm. It's a two-tone gun with the gray and black. All right, it's outfitted with a titanium firing pin, also front cocking serrations on it. These are upgrades. This is all upgrades and stuff that they did to this one that was a little bit slightly different. The bottom of the trigger guard is checkered 40 LPI, so that was a little bit of a different upgrade there, along with the front strap and of course obviously the back of the mainspring housing. So it does help out. Actually, I was surprised how much that made a difference, and also it's cut upwards here on the bottom here, so where you grip it, that does get a little higher up in there, and it does feel really nice. And then of course, with that, also the frame here has been cut a little bit up, so it feels better in the hand, and it really does. It's pretty awesome. Long, I would say that's a long to medium 3-hole trigger with that whole deal there. I usually like a shorter one, but I like that one. That one works out pretty good for me, so I'm not too dissatisfied with that or anything. All right, it's got a Mariglow front sight with the orange outline, and they're pretty nice. They glow in the dark. And then speaking of sights, we're going to go ahead here, skip over to the rear sight, which is the Vickers battle sight, the square notch. It's got tritium inserts as well, and serrated. And also the top of the slide is serrated, which I think is a really nice touch. All right. Let's see. So, yeah, that's the laundry list, kind of additional things that were done other than the normal spec out, and we've gone over that. But also, there's some paperwork here that this is some of the cool stuff that you get here. So here's the order form, that the tag that they give out with that. Inside the bag, of course, you get your Wilson Combat sticker, the manual, and I think these are kind of good to go over too, and that way you kind of understand a little bit, some of the do's, don'ts, function tests, and everything that you can do. So pretty nice manual they give you. Oh, look at that. 1911 9mm handgun user instructions. So they do recommend 124 grain round nose ammunition for the first 200 rounds during break-in. What did I actually? Yeah, in fact, I think that's what I did. Was I shot 125 grain round nose for the first initial thing. So I guess I did that without realizing that. Ammunition requirements. A 1911 and 9mm will typically feed and fire most full metal jacket ball ammunition and jacketed hollow point ammunition that closely follow the profile of full metal jacket ammunition. Okay. Alright, so it's kind of a cool thing that they've, kind of included here. You can freeze that if you want to go ahead and read it. And then it's got some stuff here on the back. So interesting. My other one did not come with that. I think that's just because this is for 9mm 1911s, I'm guessing. Got the bag with the cloth and the tools. You got some Allen keys here. I'm assuming that's for the sights and whatnot. I'm not sure what the small one would be for. And then of course the extra extractor there, because the one that's in it is a extra tuned and serrated extractor to match the back. With they included the original extractor, I'm guessing. The bag, and then here is the target test that they did. This range 15 yards. You can see there they've done 2 rounds there, and of course they test these things before these 1911s leave their facilities. It's gone through 75 to 80 rounds of test firing, which is pretty extensive. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else that's doing that. That's pretty, of course other custom 1911 builders I'm sure are doing similar things to it, but your basic, ones that, production line stuff. I mean, I've even heard some of those aren't even really test fired, not all of them. And if so, this is 1 or 2 rounds. So that's cool, and this is what it is. They tell you who built your gun, and that's the one thing about Wilson's. Even he said, he's got people in these areas that that work on specifically triggers or slide the frame fits, and that's what they're really good at. And so that's where they send your 1911 to get done with that procedure. So really cool stuff. I'm a big fan of Wilson's. Pretty upfront about that. I think out of the custom line, I'm going to always go with them because I just love their quality, and their customer service is outstanding. Having dealt with them on a number of occasions, they've always taken care of me no matter what. The other thing is, just like my other one, this is absolutely really cool that they include this, the quality control checklist. And I tell you, all of the stuff that is listed here, it's just crazy. And then everything that they signed off on and checked off on. So, just really cool. Really, really, really cool. All right. So, that's that. Now we get into that. Ken Hackathorn. Yeah, that's right. We got the Hackathorn special right here. This is really cool. This is the Hackathorn 1911 that to most of his specifications that he liked, and that's the coolest part right there. You got his name etched into the slide, his signature. This is a really cool 1911. Been wanting to get my hands on one of these for a very long time, and they're just not they're not easy to come by anymore. I do believe they dropped it from their lineup, which is unfortunate. But yes, we got some coffee this morning and a 1911 on the table. How could it be a bad morning? So this is just, this is completely decked out. This one's got a couple extra little custom touches done to it. So we'll go over that. and everything. So the overall thing, it's just such a cool 1911. Wilson Combat does an excellent job with 1911s. This is the Commander variant. It's a 9mm, which is to me the ultimate package. I love a 9mm 1911, especially in a Commander variant. And you know what? And who really turned me on to those was Ken Hackathorn. And he started to shoot those a lot and talk about them. And of course, his is an alloy framed one, lightweight. This is an all steel. I do have an alloy framed 1911 Commander in 9, and it is nice, especially when I was carrying it a lot. So, but anyway, this one here, we went with all steel and everything. So it's got that two-tone look, just like his. Got the dark gray and the black and slide. There, it's the Armor Tough coating by Wilson Combat. They're excellent stuff. It's the one-piece blended magwell that attaches to the mainspring housing right there. Beautifully blended. I tell you, you can't even tell. Can't even tell the difference between it. All right, then you got checkering on the front strap here. G10 Starburst grips, which I like all different types of grips on mine. I usually kind of go through and put some other ones on there. Like Hackathorn is a fan of the ivory look, and so am I. So, but I wanted to show it to you with the grips that it arrived with. And then the front cocking serrations is an upgrade. I do know that was not outfitted in the original spec. So, and then the barrel, look at that. I do kind of like the way they did that, the serrations on there. I've got one that doesn't have those, but this one does, and it's kind of neat looking. It really does. I mean, mostly cosmetics. I mean, they say it's so that some whatever, if anything collects there, it has a place to go and channel it in there and all that. But a lot of this stuff is just cosmetics, and to me, that's pretty big on just cosmetics. But it looks really cool. I do admit it looks really neat. So. And then, of course, that little extra thing there that they bevel that out. I seen those originally on gold cups. So, and then, of course, that gold cup flat top on there. I really like that, the way that looks. And it's got a Vickers rear sight that's serrated as well, and also the extractor is serrated there. The muzzle, look at that. The barrel is a flush cut and fitted to the barrel bushing. And it is a full, bushing style guide rod and everything. I don't like the ones that are full length or anything. I like the way you can take them down the old school way. And then the ball cuts, really cool. And now, so if there's going to be something I'm going to gripe about, and I'm going to go over the list here real quick. That it also has a titanium firing pin. And of course, the medium length 3-hole trigger, and it's got the Ameriglow front sight tritium with the orange outline and all that. So the rear sight it has is a battle sight, the Vickers square notch. It came with the whole laundry list here that has been spec'd out for this one. They did do a little bit of an upcut, I believe, on the frame here and everything, so your hand kind of fits a little higher. You also notice the grip safety, the beaver tail part right here, is a little shorter, and that was something that Hackathorn, I believe, was talking and going in, and he was a favor of that and doing that for concealment. And you can see, and I tell you, when you shoot this, you don't get any of that. The red marks or anything on the web of your hand, which you shoot 1911s, this is par for the course, but with this thing, you don't get it at all. And actually, when you depress that safety down, look at that. I mean, it's all, there's nothing. There's no space. It's all, just nothing sticks up. It's amazing. Amazing. And I tell you, right there. I mean, it's engaged right there. It's ready to fire. Just like that. And look at that whole travel. So I mean, it's definitely sensitized. Everything has been gone over with a fine-tooth comb with these things. You're definitely, I mean, they're not cheap. They're not cheap by any means, but definitely awesome stuff. But I tell you, it's smooth. It's also got a flat wire recoil spring in it, so that does allow for the theory behind that is when it does the full recoil, it has it compresses better and has a longer dwell time between it picking up the next round. So which gives that magazine an extra moment there to shoot the rest of the rounds back up into where it needs to be after it's done. And then you can definitely increase reliability, and that's what it's all about. Increasing that reliability, and then of course the extractor is machined with the curve already in it. So that was one thing that Wilson has always been big on. They machine it with the curve, so then that way they're not bending the metal and then installing it. And the theory is so it doesn't just relax and go back to its original form. So if I was going to say, for me, a negative about this thing, and I will be honest, the negatives, I'm not a fan of it being countersunk like that. I understand why they do it, so that nothing, you don't bump it and it'll come off. But I could live with that if the takedown notch wasn't so tiny here. And I'm going to get, because you know what, you almost can't even see it. The takedown, so obviously a first locking up right there, but the takedown notch is right there, and it's almost hidden. It does, I mean, it comes out no problem, but I just don't like that. I wish it would a little bit more traditional, but that's okay. It's a minor deal. It's not, it's certainly not a deal breaker or anything like that, but that's something I would say I'm not a fan of. But you also notice, since we're in this area, look at how they beveled the edge of the slide right there. Just nice. Everything on it dehorned and everything. So with the finish, I do know from my understanding that once they get these things, they polish them up, they get them ready, they dehorn everything, they parkerize it, then they armor tough it. The parkerizing is there as an additional thing for help corrosion resistant and to give the armor tough finish something to adhere to even better. So they definitely go the extra mile with these things. Are they worth it? Absolutely. I do feel that you're worth it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Alright, as a parting exit for the video, we're going to go ahead and look at the parts here. And again, I think the barrel, the flutes or the cuts on the barrel is really cool. And it being 9mm, it's a ramp barrel, of course. Yeah, definitely, if you're going to roll with that, that's the way to do it. So, and of course, look at that. Love the way it's flush cut. And you can see, even the bushing has been beveled on the bottom there. Really cool. You can see how tight this fits, or how snug. Excellent. Inside the frame here, of course, with 9mm, the ejector is slightly extended out to help with the casing. The slide. Of course, you got all the maloob all over it. Flat wire recoil spring. That's what's installed there, and of course the guide rod, which is they're different to accommodate the flat wire spring. So if you are going to run the flat wire spring, do remember you're going to need to get the guide rod assembly to do so, because it is different. And it's got the I run the shock buffs on mine. That's a personal choice. And the slide stop, which of course I've always liked that style that they've done, the ledge there. So and that's what the bushing looks like, or the barrel plug, recoil plug. So, all right. Anyway, I figured you want to see the internals or it's field stripped and gone through. So, thanks for watching.